Thanks for staying with us. So, yesterday, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja convicted and sentenced the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Task Team, PRTT, Mr. Abdulrasheed Maina, to 8 years in prison for money laundering. So, with all that has happened, we're going to be discussing your thoughts on the sentence. But before we do that, we're going to bring in our guest. He is Mr. Habibu Adamu Aliyu. He is the former head EFCC Pension Fraud Special Team. He specializes in forensic investigation and financial crime intelligence analysis. He is the lead prosecution witness of the EFCC in all 13 pension fraud cases pending before various courts, including the Maina's case. Welcome, sir, to the show. Many pensioners were happy that finally they've gotten a conviction. However, some people are still with the belief that it's still not a good enough sentence it's not commensurate with the crime that has been committed. What are your thoughts on this? I know you're not a lawyer, but what are your thoughts on this?
Our thoughts on this is it's within the discretion of the court to impose the sanction it's imposed on convicts, and we have no problem with that, honestly. And what comes out of the judgment is novel. It's one of the best interpretations of the Money Laundering Act, because we are able to establish how he operated anonymous accounts, how he induced officers of the bank to open an account anonymously, how he was receiving stolen funds. So it was really a stamp on the quality of work that we did. So I'm apparently very happy with the outcome of the court decision.
For me, Maina is a very powerful Nigerian, and we know that he has the ability to pull some strings. In your opinion, in all sincerity, do you think this sort of short sentence is commensurate to the act that was committed? And do you think it would deter other people from committing this?
Yeah, commensurate is honestly a relative term, and I don't want us to deny the fact that the court has on the discretion to enforce the sentence in court. And honestly, I'm okay with the sentence because I'm looking at 61 years. He's convicted for 61 years, but the law says outrun is concurrently. That's one. Number two, all the assets established have been pursued by this. By his money laundering, it has been forfeited to the federal government. One of the houses is worth $2 million. The second house is worth $1.4 million. So it's really commensurate, and he has to now respond about over $2 billion back to the federal government proper. So at least there is enough deterrence to deter others from doing such kind of.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali. I think I'll let you go at this point.
I wanted to ask quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, can you confirm to us where he's been remanded right now? Because yesterday, immediately after conviction, we noticed that there was a bit of confusion as to who would take custody of him following for his detention. Is he with the EFCC now or in the prisons as expected that he should be?
In the lawful custody of the Nigerian Prison Service, there was a communication gap. What was normally obtained in the past is whenever there is a conviction, EFCC normally conveys the convict to the prison authority. Because mostly either the convict accused was on bail or it was EFCC that brought him to court. So in this instance, he was in the lawful custody of the Nigerian prison on the order of the court because he jumped bail. So in this instance, the communication gap was between the EFCC officials and the prison authority, which we are able to resolve there and then in court. So he was in the lawful custody of Nigerian Correctional Service.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
My mom just retired like a year ago, and you know that she's able to have access to something that comes to her monthly gives me joy. I know she'll be able to pay some hospital bills. She has no rent to pay. She's not paying school fees, but you know enough to just take care of her. She's not asking for much. I'm just talking of a regular who was a nurse. She's not even asking for much. Just enough to just live a nice, quiet, decent life. That's all she's asking for. And to find someone, to hear that there's one person who will take that away from her, and millions of Nigerians, because they can, because someone signed them and approved them to be in an office. So his sentence has been reviewed because first of all, they said he has some illness, he has some tumors, he has a large family. But this is a man, so let's say, okay,
he's
he was
a human
desperate.
being.
Let's even listen. Maybe he was desperate and he had to take care of his family. Does he need bulletproof cars, choice of properties in Dubai? Does he need to live in such affluence? Is that what he's needing? You know, so that's why I don't understand the mercy. This is not a person who is looking to put some money together to help his overwhelming
family problems.
Yes, family problems. This is someone who just wants to live in luxury, in affluence that he did not work for, that he does not deserve. You see, many times when people in government are caught, you have some people say, hey, leave him for us. We are forgiving him. Is it not our money? We too, is our turn. It's national cake. The truth is that for everything that we do, for every action, there's a consequence. Behind the miners stealing of billions of naira, pensioners holding placards, standing in the sun and the rain, falling ill. Maina is able to talk about malignant tumors that he has because he went to the hospital
and they checked. Yes.
They are pensioners. They cannot even go to the hospital. So that's what we're talking about. And so when we hear that the judge said, okay, given this, then we'll give you 8 years, nearly the minimum, I just feel it's so unfair.
So justice is very, very important for people to find closure. But if it is any consolation, the judge ordered Maina and the second defendant, One Common Input Properties and Investment Limited, to refund 2.4 billion naira to the federal government. Also, he asked that his 2 houses acquired from proceeds of this crime, situated in Jabi and Life Camp, Abuja, 2 vehicles, including a bulletproof SUV, a BMW 5 Series, ordered to be sold, and the proceeds forfeited to the federal government. And, you know, hoping that this sends a message. But, you know, the time when Maina took the supposed 2 billion, the report originally was 100 billion. And since we don't agree that we spend dollar, the value of naira then was not this bad compared to that. So I would expect, that's why I want our lawmakers again to sit down. We cannot have the maximum sentence.
The point I'm making is a whole kind of worms.
That's where I'm going.
It's a whole day show. Because these lawmakers, sometimes, they make a lot of arguments online, but in the House. But we need to remind them that many of these laws need to be reviewed.
They should be forward-thinking.
Forward-thinking and ensure.
You know, they should be forward-thinking, and also they should be feeling the pulse of the people. You know, the way Mariam just finished now. If you are any Nigerian at all, and are not privileged, that's your story.